T.B.Photo X1.5 and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another video. And this time we're actually going to do a little bit back to basics and what should we call it? A little bit of back to flea market madness and a little bit of DIY ingenuity. You know, we have this saying in Sweden, bondförnuft, farmers know-how or farmers knowledge, which basically translates into you have to be able to think with what you got in order to make the best of the situation, because this is going to be a little bit of a small series that I'm going to start now with me doing or rather, you know, a makeshift tabletop studio-esque setup, because now we're in the kitchen and if you can't stand the heat, get out of here. But joking aside, this is my little, what should we call it, makeshift studio setup when I do a lot of my ad photographies that goes online when I'm you know, selling stuff, or sometimes when I'm doing a little bit of ads and so on. So you can see the pictures that I have posted before. Excuse me, a little bit of an interruption there, but anyway, what I'm gonna tell you now is that this is the setup that I've used to do ad photography, and it's not a very elaborate setup, but it has worked for me, and I thought I'll just share it with you, my little, you know, the tips and tricks that I have been learning throughout my time with photography, which isn't long, by the way. I'm not an expert in anything, but that doesn't mean I can't have a go at it. But anyway, this is it. What we will begin with is, this here is floor paper. The type of paper you put on your floors when you're gonna redecorate. If you're gonna paint the walls or ceiling, you need something to cover your floor for spillage of, you know, paint spillage. So that's what this is. And just something we had in the garage, something, you know, it's something we had. So this was basically, it was free, and I've seen people do this with, you know, white paper and white pieces of cloth and so on. So it's just a pair of kitchen stools with an 8 kilogram weight, 8 kilogram weight on top to just keep it all steady. And I'm using this then as the foreground and you know, floor part of whatever I'm photographing, and this actually gives you fairly good controllable radius as well. You can, with a bit of trickery, you know, move this back and forth to make this part here have a little bit of an angle to it and so on. And you can play with the shadows that are made on the back part here. So that's basically it. As for light sources, first of all, I have the ambient light in this room. We have a little bit of, you know, controlled lighting in the kitchen that I can use as a, you know, a fading backdrop thing light. You know what I mean? But my main light sources, and I know that light sources for photography as such are ludicrously expensive, but I started to look at if you look at studio lights, what they in essence are, they're just a light bulb that are very strong, controllable, and they are often surrounded by a reflective material, so the most of the light will be targeted toward the subject. So what I actually went to IKEA and I found these two. These are two bedside lamps, you know, floor lamps for your bedside, and they have this articulated part here, so I can, you know, target them to a specific spot very easily. And these two take a maximum of a 20-watt light bulb in both of these. So I thought these two are a great addition to, you know, have as a main light source. And I actually went to another store chain called Clas Ohlson's, and they had something called Jedi lights. And the website for this product is jedilights.com. And what it was actually was these LED light bulbs with a kind of opaque plastic cover on them, so it's a little bit diffused, so you don't see the individual LEDs as such. But what is so incredible with these is that they are remote controllable. So if I want a specific setup, the only downside with this setup, in my opinion, is that you have to shield one light in order to, change the other one to a specific color. Because now I'm just gonna do both of them simultaneously for demonstrational purposes. But anyway, if I want to, I can, for instance, make both of these red, or what I usually want is one red and one blue, and something like that, so I get some contrasting colors and so on. Or rather, just put these on random for now, just for demonstrational purposes. You have some different types of things you can put on here. You can, well, I can just show you a little bit. You can make it to resemble candlelight, which this is supposed to be. If you have old style light bulbs, you can simulate that. Sunlight or white light. This is supposed to be some kind of frost light. Night lights for children. Other type of night lights. Reading lights. Yoga light. Early morning light, and so on. You have different types of light that is pre-programmed into this remote control, but for now I'm just going to put it on random so you can see that what it's capable of. So this is a little bit of the setup that I'm using as well, and also, as you can see down here, I have a little spotlight which I found at a flea market, which I can use, to just, if I need a little bit extra light at a specific spot, I can use that little light down there. And if I need something that is a little bit stronger, I have this, which I basically bought online from a surplus store in Finland, and this is a Miltech TL122 light, and it's an LED flashlight, and it comes with 4 gels in the bottom here, so you can have different types of coloring in this light as well. This is a great strong flashlight that you can put to illuminate a specific spot of the subject. And sometimes, as you can probably see a little bit in the periphery of this, you get a little bit of double shadows and so on, which can be, with a little bit of trickery, you can minimize. But sometimes I think that actually adds a kind of a cool effect. But anyway, this light source is very strong, and it has 5 LEDs in this light head that actually they become very prominent when you illuminate something. You get a little bit that you can tell the individual light sources from that flashlight, and that can be both a pro and a con. It depends on the effect you're after as a photographer. But if we continue, from now in this time, I'm using my Vivitar 19 to 35 millimeter autofocus lens on the Nikon D7200, and I'm using that because, in my opinion, it's the best video lens that I have currently, because that lens is very wide angle. So that's basically the property I wanted here. It's a very plasticky lens in itself, and it's not the highest or best quality, but it serves its purpose for this. When I'm doing ad photography, yet again, it's the trusty 28 to 85 millimeter AF Nikkor that I'm using. What is it? It's the downside with this is that the shortest distance is 0.8 meters, which is basically 80 centimeters, which is almost an entire meter. You need to have a meter between you and the subject you're photographing. So that is a little bit of a hassle with it, but it works, and it takes very good, the image quality it produces, you can't complain really. It works for my purposes. And since this is now photographed with the D7200, That's the camera I'm using to take still photographies. So the problem being is that what am I going to film this with? Well, I actually have these two then. It's the Panasonic little, I can HX-A1M, which is the little, action cam, which is very wide angle. This is full. This does 1080p. This is a full HD camera. The Nikon D7200 can also produce full HD, but this is an action cam. It has not a great quality microphone in it for once, and it's extreme wide angle, so it almost has a little bit of a fisheye effect. So this is good for what it's supposed to do. So I'm actually also going to try to bring out of retirement my old Canon camcorder. This is the Legria Legria FS305. So this is an old Canon camcorder. So I'm gonna do a little bit, experimentation on how to film this, but this is the basic setup, at least, that I'm using when I'm doing ad photography. So I'll be seeing you in the next video, where we're actually gonna do a little bit of a setup and use the light sources in this video and see what we can do. But all in all, this is Tobias Bergstrom from T.B.Photo X1.5 to FX, and I would like to see you guys in the next video. And as you apparently should say in all these YouTube video malarkeys, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. So take care for now. Bye.